As an introduction to our paper, I would like to show you a demo of the system that we describe in our paper. The system is called ICNIER, Interactive Knowledge Networks for Engineering Education Research. You can get to this system by simply going to www.icnier.org. When you do that, you will be coming to this page that you see on screen. In order to use the system, you have to quickly register. The registration process is rather painless, and you just go in and give us some basic information and hit register, and we give you an account from which you can use to access the site. It also lists the benefits of iCnear and how you may use it in various roles. I already have an account, so I'm going to go ahead and fill in that information and click login. Once you log in, you land on the front page of iCnear. I should already tell you that iCnear has been tested for Firefox, Chrome, and Safari, and we really are working on Internet Explorer support, but at this time we do not fully support Internet Explorer. So if you are on Internet Explorer, chances are that you don't see all of the things line up perfectly on your page because of some quirkiness with how Internet Explorer is designed. Now let me get to the page that you're seeing now on screen. At the very top of the page, you see a list of key phrases that are machine extracted from all of the data that we archive in our system. These are key phrases, meaning that not independent words. We try to preserve as much of the context as possible, and we use a variation of an algorithm called TF-IDF in order to generate this, and this is pretty machine intensive. So I will point out that we have described this in our paper. On the right here, you see all of the things that our system is archiving now. And we also have about 137,000 authors for whom we can generate profiles, 103,000 principal investigators on grants that you see here. And also, we have access to over 260,000 keywords that our system has generated. Right below that, you see a list of all the knowledge products that our system archives. You will see that they are classified by types, which means some of them are journals, some of them are conference proceedings. And here you see that we also archive a list of awards that have been made by the US National Science Foundation. The idea here is with this particular piece, we want to track the impact of these awards. So eventually, our system will be able to show which grant was supporting what publications and conference proceedings that came out. Now, let me go back here on top. Here you see the search box. Of course, you can search for many things, authors, documents, keywords, and so on. I'll demonstrate that here in a little bit. Now, let me go ahead and click on one of these key phrases, which in this case was engineering education, and you get to a page where you see a full profile of everything related to engineering education that our system has. As opposed to a regular search, you see that we have already performed a bunch of analytics for you when you land on this page. There is a lot of information that is present here on this page about the key phrase that you just clicked. At the very top here, you see the number of publications that we are looking at, number of authors who have worked in the space of engineering education, and you also see how the publications have happened with relation to the key phrase engineering education over a period of time. You can mouse over these years and you see how many publications we have in each year related to that particular key phrase topic. On the right here, you see that there is a lot of authors associated with this particular key phrase. If you want to narrow down the search, you can see whether we have a certain author or not real time. In this case, I started typing Carl and it already shows me Carl Smith. And let me now show you what this graph is all about. We have a collaboration network where the nodes are the independent authors and links between them are either papers or proposals. At the very center of this flat network graph, you see that there is a lot of activity going on with a lot of collaboration. However, there is also a very many number of nodes and links that are present outside. When I move my mouse on this, you see that names are being highlighted, which means that this is an interactive graph. You can go ahead and click on any one of these terms. I'm not going to do this right now, but you can go play around on this with this graph on your own. Right below that, you have publications and their documents with the keyword engineering education. Here you see which outlets we have, which of the knowledge products have the key phrase engineering education listed with them. And when you mouse over, you see that Frontiers in Education Conference has a lot, Journal of Engineering Education has a lot, and so on. You also see here, right below it, a list of publications and other products that have engineering education as part of their key phrases. and you see the publication where it occurred and what are the keywords for that particular publication, what are the key phrases related to that particular publication. You can click on any one of these key phrases and jump to a topic directly if you want. You can also see the abstract related to that particular paper in this case that you may want to look at. Now, let me go ahead and show you something really cool. At the top right over here, the system shows you a list of all the authors who have worked on engineering education. I see all of the top authors here, and you see Carl Smith, Barbara Olds, Jeff Freud, Schumann, Cindy Atman, Ron Miller, Mary Besterfield Sakri, and so on. I'm going to go ahead and click, in this case, on Carl Smith. And this takes me to a profile that is directly related to Carl Smith. In our system, Carl Smith is only recognized as a researcher and he has no other roles. So you see that his research interests are listed over here. Of course, Carl has worked extensively with cooperative learning, and you see the key phrase related to that. And on the top left over here, you see all of the name variations that Carl has in our system. And on the right here, you see his publication production by year. You can mouse over and see how many publications he had each year. This may not be a complete list, as you can imagine, because we don't archive everything. Right below that is a simple egocentric graph with Carl Smith at the middle. His first level collaborators, which means his direct collaborators, are listed in blue right around that. And then the friends of friends, which means the collaborators, indirect collaborators are listed over here. And you see that in the case of Carl Smith, he's a very well-known researcher. So the collaboration network is very dense over here. And for beginning researchers, this network might not be as dense. Right below that, you see that there is a lot of people working on similar topics. For example, there are 5,900 people working in engineering education, 6,000 people on teaching related things, about 270 people working on cooperative learning. And if you're Carl, you might want to see who are these people. So you can go click on that key phrase, and the system will automatically generate for you a list of all the names of people who are working on cooperative learning. And this is a searchable list, which means you can go say, let's search for Susan, and there is Susan Lard, and you can jump to Susan's profile from here. Now, I am going to also show you here right below that is all of the publication that Carl has, article, proceedings paper, there is a special session paper that he has, and also all of his granting information will be present below that. And here you see that if you're interested in Carl Smith's work, you might also want to look at people who fund Carl's work, and you see Sue Kemnitzer, Russ Pimmel, and so on, and people in the community would recognize these names. And if you're interested in Carl Smith's work, you might also be interested in all of these people who are working with him. Now, let me go ahead and, for example, show you how this interactive graph works. There are a lot of first level collaborators over here. And I am going to pick Anne for this particular demonstration. I'm going to click on Anne's name. And since this is an interactive graph, you can actually jump directly to Anne's profile. Right now, it is calculating real time all of Anne's roles and all of Anne's profiles that the system is seeing. This calculation, as you can imagine, takes a few seconds, but once it's done, you will see that Anne has very many name variations that our system has looked at. At the time we archived her work, she was at Northwestern. Here is all the information that that are directly related to her, and here are all the amounts that she awarded as a program officer. That you can see very clearly over here, which means that Anne has a role as a researcher, and these are the key phrases related to her research. Then she went to the National Science Foundation, and these are the things that she has funded when she was a program officer at National Science Foundation. So our system basically recognizes both her roles. Similar to the network that you saw with Carl, here you see Anne has a very dense collaboration network, which means she's a very well-known researcher in this space. Here you see that there is a collaboration network of PIs that she has funded. When she was at NSF, this graph would have been very dense. Now people who know Anne will tell you that she's moved to Arizona State University, and therefore this network may not be as dense because this is a list of all the people that she's managing as a program officer. And since she's no longer a program officer, the number of people that she manages is not very high. You see these 5 cluster combinations come up very clearly, which means 1 PI and 4 co-PIs are allowed by a National Science Foundation. If you're interested in Anne's funding record, you might also be interested in all of these PIs and co-PIs. You may also be interested in program officers who are similar to what Anne's profile looked like when she was at NSF. And here are the research topics that Anne is most interested in, and here you can see a list of all her papers and so on. Now, I want to point out to you some very simple thing. Here you see a variety of key phrases. You can actually use these key phrases for navigating through further on the system. For example, there is a key phrase over here which is called problem solving skills. Let me go ahead and click on that and see what is being funded with problem solving skills in this particular area. So we have 32 publications related to problem solving skills, and they are primarily in IEEE Educon and transactions on education. And then there is the Frontiers in Education conference. You will see a list of publications that show up there, proceedings paper, and you also start seeing network graphs associated with that, and you also see people who are working in this area. So you can use the key phrases to jump to a certain part of the system that you want. You can also start typing into the search box. In this case, I'm going to search for my own self, Krishna Madhavan, and I'm going to hit enter, and it shows me a list of all the proposals, and then you see the papers and so on. I'm going to go ahead and click Krishna Madhavan over here, and it shows me my full profile. In this case, I do work on cyber learning, I do work on cyber environments, I'm interested in interactive systems, emerging social networks, and so on. There is this key phrase which says live TM. This is probably an artifact picked up from one of my papers. So I am actually not happy with this as a key phrase. So I'm removing this by clicking X, and the system will recognize that I've removed it later on, and it will not show me my profile. So you see that now it's gone from the system. If you're interested in my work, here are all the authors that you might be interested in. Here are all the topics that you might be interested in. The people who fund me are all listed over here. And you can, of course, click on any one of these people and go directly to their profile, and this continues, and you can go search for very many different things. So as in the paper, we describe a lot of features that are available through Eichner. At this point, I would like to stop and invite you to go try Eichner online. This is a great system if you're just starting out in the space, or if you're a researcher who's trying to just generate your profile. If you find any errors, you can always email us using the email address that we have provided in the paper. Thank you so much for following along, and I hope you enjoy using the system.